Okay, next we're doing rolls. Orange belt do rolls for their defenses, and they're kind of tricky. The back roll and the front roll are a little bit harder, and doing them at home might be really hard because you don't have a mat. If you have carpet, that's great. The first fall is you literally just get up on your knees, and you make a triangle, and you fall down. And then Judah's gonna sit back up. Now I have a story Judah doesn't want me to share, but I'm gonna share it anyway. And Judah used to do this with his sisters on our beds at home when he was really little, like under a year old. And they'd get him up on his knees and they'd shove him. And they were teaching him how to break fall like he does right there. This came in really handy when he was running down a hill in the South Hills in a driveway, and it was like this, and his feet and his hands, and he flew like 5 feet and did a perfect break fall. And I think he was 3 when he did that. And he didn't get any owies, and if he'd have fallen on his face, it's huge. You get more injuries falling than any other thing. So we do have it in our self-defense curriculum, which seems a little weird, but because people get hurt falling, that means it does defend yourself if you know how to. So the first fall is super simple. You just get on your knees, make a triangle, and you fall. And if you notice when he's done falling, he's lifting his hips and he's going up on his back feet, and he's still in triangle position. That protects his face, so he's landing on his whole forearm, not his wrist. If you land here, you break your arms right here, which both my arms have been broken there when I was little, and so that's bad. This is how you want to fall, is with your whole forearm absorbing the fall. The bigger area that lands, the less injuries that you have. All right, so that's the first one. The next one is falling backwards. When you fall backwards, if you watch Judah, and he's going to do it wrong this time without tucking your chin, and he's going to fall backwards. You see how he landed flat and his head was back, so you have head injuries happening, and it's not good. So if you're falling backwards, and you can do this from even standing, if you notice when he does it in slow motion, he's arching his back and everything's coming in like a ball, and he's keeping his chin tucked when he falls so that you don't have a head injury. Again, the arms help spread out the surface of the fall so that you have less injuries. So you're breaking the fall. So these kinds of falls backwards, people call a break fall, because you're breaking your fall and landing. All right? Now, the next two rolls and falls are difficult because the rolls take a lot more skill, and people can struggle with them. When they struggle with the front roll, it looks, oh, you want to do back roll? Okay. When they struggle with the back roll, they flop over on their sides when they're going over, and they just do that. And they're like, I did the back roll, it was super easy. And it's not quite what we're looking for. The back rollout happens a lot as you get higher ranking, because it's a really efficient way to get up off the ground. And so a lot of the brown belt techniques have you getting up off the ground with a rollout. So when you roll out, you watch Judah and see how he has one arm out, one arm bent, and one leg bent, and one arm out. The straight is on one side, the bent is on one side, then he is going over his shoulder as he rolls out. And if you watch his legs this time when he does it, he's driving his knee of his straight leg down to the ground, and then his bent knee becomes the bent knee again. One more time. Judah makes these look so easy. Rolling, plant, lift, set through. All right, here we go. Now, the hardest one for people, for students, is the front rollout. The front rollout is kind of like a somersault, but not so much. If you can do somersaults, then this isn't so horrible. But if somersaults is something like this for you, where you're flopping over, and you think you're doing a front rollout, but you really kind of did a flip-flop, that's not what we're looking for. So when you do a front rollout, again, watch his positioning with his legs. So you see the knee that's bent is the arm, the knee that's up is the arm that's high, and the knee that's hitting the ground is the arm that's down. That's always the way you want to set yourself up. Now the next step that he does is he's planting his hands on the ground, and you're using the back of your hands. Now look at his back leg. He's pushing up as he's going, planting, rolling. Again, when he gets done, the leg that was down is the leg that is also on the ground. So he's going plant, roll, push, land. And can we do a couple more in slow motion? So plant, lift, push, land. That's our goal. And eventually, if you get really, really good at these and you like them, you can do where you're doing from standing. And it's the same technique, it's just from standing. And if you're really feeling rambunctious, you can do it from running. Maybe not at home, but this is the Orange Belt Falls, and hopefully you don't get too frustrated. The back roll and the front roll are much more difficult than just the straight fall forward and the straight fall back. So at the very least, you're going to get 2 down really well, and if the other 2 take a little longer, that's okay.